Welcome back. Well, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard confirming that the Trump administration is considering pursuing charges against former President Barack Obama after declassified documents allege he and his team laid the groundwork for the Russia collusion probe. Watch this.
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment.
President Obama's office responded to the allegations saying this: "These bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction." The House Intelligence Report also failed to include any direct evidence that Putin wanted to help then-President Trump during the 2016 election. The documents also reveal the Kremlin's alleged knowledge of health problems that Hillary Clinton may have had. Watch this.
Putin's principal interests relating to the 2016 election were to undermine faith in the U.S. democratic process, not show any preference of a certain candidate. In fact, this report shows Putin held back from leaking compromising material on Hillary Clinton prior to the election, instead planning to release it after the election to weaken what Moscow viewed as an inevitable Clinton presidency. In the January 2017 intelligence community assessment that President Obama ordered, John Brennan, who was CIA director at the time, and the intelligence community intentionally suppressed intelligence that showed Putin was saving the most damaging material that he had in his possession about Hillary Clinton. There were high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and that then Secretary Clinton was allegedly on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers. Then CIA Director Brennan and the intelligence community mischaracterized intelligence and relied on dubious substandard sources to create a contrived false narrative that Putin developed a quote-unquote clear preference for Trump.
Yeah, we said all of this at the time. One section of the report includes allegations that Putin had intelligence from the DNC, allegedly showing Democrat leaders found Clinton's health to be extraordinarily alarming and could have had serious negative impact on her election chances. Joining me now is Fox News contributor, former FBI Special Agent Nicole Parker. Nicole, great to see you.
Thank you for having me, Maria.
Thanks so much for being here. And you were at the FBI and really watched a change at the FBI as it went all political. And that's why you left the FBI. Tell us about this period of the things that you remember.
For me, the most notable date in my time at the FBI was July 5th of 2016, when Jim Comey came before America and said no reasonable prosecutor would charge Hillary Clinton. And all FBI agents were watching. I remember standing in my boss's office with a group of agents, and our jaws were on the ground, and we're like, what did he just say? Because what he had done was basically read an indictment against Hillary Clinton and then just said, you know what, no one would charge this, move along, let's keep going. But Maria, I think what's very alarming and chilling, being at the FBI, again, I was working violent crime in FBI Miami. We wanted nothing to do with the politicization, but it was inescapable. We could not ignore it, and it became so loud, it overwhelmed us, and it prevented the real agents from doing the real work. But I can tell you, I know individuals that were involved in this, that were looking into the Hillary Clinton emails and things of that nature, and they were finding things. And they were, in essence, told, you know what, stand down on that. That's not what we're looking for. That's not the focus here. And that's not what we're going to be doing here.
Unbelievable.
So what they tried to do is they were hell-bent on basically stopping President Trump from getting elected rather than focusing on the Hillary Clinton emails. They then pivoted to Operation Crossfire Hurricane and said, hey, don't look here, but let's turn and look here and see what's going on over here. It looks like the Trump campaign's colluding with Russia, when in essence, they were not. And that's when all of this happened. It was July of 2016 that they actually opened the Operation Crossfire Hurricane investigation at the FBI to shift responsibility from Hillary Clinton and put it onto President Trump's campaign. And we all know that there was so much false information that was used in that entire investigation.
Yeah.
The Steele dossier, I mean, we could go on and on and on,
yeah.
But it was totally inappropriate what they did. So they tried to stop President Trump from winning.
That's right.
They were unsuccessful. So then as soon as he won, they had to delegitimize his presidency.
Yeah.
And they were hell-bent on it.
I remember it well, and I remember watching Jim Comey that day on July 16th, because he went through a litany of things that Clinton did. You know, using a server that was in her basement, and, you know, sending emails when she went on international trips, and how dangerous it was. And then at the end of the list of everything she did, he says, no prosecutor would ever pursue this. And I was watching, wait a minute, what did he just say? But you're right, and we reported all of this, Nicole, at the time. You know, I mean, I was out front and getting slammed by the media as a result of this. And Devin Nunes and John Ratcliffe were the truth tellers. They came on my show repeatedly and went through every moment of, you know, what the Democrats were doing, sitting on information, not sending them reports and information that they had demanded. Here's a bit of that. Just, it's almost 10 years now. Watch. That's right. There are more felonies that you can point to. I mean, the idea that Cheryl Mills got immunity after lying to the FBI, and a number of other Clinton cronies getting immunity after actually lying to the FBI, creating all this nonsense and noise around a Russia probe and getting a special counsel involved. So the bottom line is, where are the charges? How far up the chain does this go? Was Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton basically pulling the strings?
Everybody, I think, but the Trump campaign and Republicans and the American people, everybody else outside of those three groups knew about the dossier and were actively trying to open investigations, start investigations to use this dirt to go after the other campaign.
Hillary Clinton goes to run for president, and she's got the full weight and strength and power of the U.S. government behind her, where FBI and other agencies are completely politicized to make sure she wins, and she still lost. That was quite extraordinary.
It's almost prophetic, Maria.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you as an agent, I used to watch your program, and every time I would watch, I'm like, you know what? She is telling the truth. That is what is going on here. But again, I'm inside the agency. I can't say a word. But you should feel completely validated right now, because for the haters that were hating on you, you were speaking the truth the entire time. And you know what? It's going to come out. And I appreciate what Tulsi Gabbard is doing. I'm a truth follower.
Yeah.
Present the evidence to Department of Justice. Let them do their full investigation. But the key is that you have a DOJ now that is going to be fair and unbiased. And that's not what we've had in the past.
Yeah. Let's talk about crime, because one of President Trump's biggest priorities was securing the border. He's done that, and I feel like the city of New York feels better. But New York City crime, the NYPD is now trying to reduce violent crime rates and seeing some success. Murders are down 26% year to date. Total major felony offenses dropped more than 5% in the same time period. Some New Yorkers are worried about the potential impact of Democrat socialist Zoran Mamdani and his progressive on-crime policies if he wins the mayoral election. Mamdani has not commented on the recent shooting of an off-duty Customs and Border Patrol officer in a city park. And ICE is calling him out for his, quote, deafening silence. Plus, he says he will no longer defund the police. This is now his new take. But he campaigned on that promise in the past. Police union leaders are warning of a cop exodus if Mamdani wins, as large numbers of police officers are already retiring, Nicole. I want to get your take on this. It feels better in New York City, and I think it's because President Trump secured the border, for sure. You know, you can talk about what the NYPD is doing great. I think the NYPD is great, and they're doing a great job. But you cannot escape the fact that it's largely because Trump secured the border. Your thoughts?
I agree with you completely. He secured the border, and he came in and said, you know what, we're going to make America safe again. And cities, you need to get into line with this, because there have been a lot of problems in New York City. You know, and I know that it has not been a safe place to be in the last several years, especially under the Biden administration. And we look at what happened to the CBP officer. That is a direct result of gross negligence at the border due to Biden's policies and Mayorkas and sanctuary city policies. And you're right. There are police officers that have felt completely hamstrung in the city of New York and other major cities. They are not permitted to do their jobs under certain leadership. And you know what? They're all flocking to Florida, where I live, because that's where we appreciate law enforcement. We back the blue. But President Trump is all about making America safe. I do think it has a strong impact. And for this mayoral candidate to say originally, hey, you know what, defund the police, let's use social workers, that is the most asinine thing I've ever heard in my life. Having worked violent crime, that is not the solution. And again, he's having to back off of it because, you know what? People do want to live in safe communities. They are sick and tired of living in fear. And that's why I appreciate what President Trump has done. He is making America safe. And I hope that, you know, New York continues to be safer.
Well, I know you lost your dear friend, Laura, in Florida. as a result of violence. But do you think if Mamdani could win New York? And if he does, do you believe there will be a cop exodus?
I want to have more faith in the New Yorkers. I used to be here. I was here in 9/11. I want to hope that they can see the truth and what's best for their city and that he does not win for the sake. And I'm a resident of Florida. We've had plenty of New Yorkers come down. We are saturated. They need to stay in place in New York because if he wins, they will all come down to Florida and other places.
Yeah.
And there will be law enforcement officers that will continue to leave in droves. And we do have to respect and back the blue. I did lose my best friend, Special Agent Laura Schwarzenberger. And Maria, I have always appreciated your dedication and your respect to those that are doing the heavy lifting in this country and protecting Americans.
Thank you so much. Nicole, great to see you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Nicole Parker, former FBI. We'll be right back. Stay with us.